It's out there.
Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Oh, it's a spooky time of the year. It's basically Halloween and has been since August 1st. Welcome to Ask an Engineer, the spookiest running, long-term, every single week Ask an Engineer electronics show, longest running show on the internet with electronics on it. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. We've been doing this for like 10 years. We're still alive, so we're going to still do it. We're in the Adafruit factory where we do all of our design, test, ship, manufacture, documentation, all the electronics that you know and love. But now we're going to have an hour long of engineering news and new products and features and all just cool stuff. Lots of It's Not Out Yet, and some cool guides as well this week. So let's kick it off with a fun-filled electronics-packed show.
That's right.
Can't take it anymore.
In the beginning of the show, we had some Adabox little fun things we put together, videos. You have until Monday at noon Eastern time to get Adabox 09 Halloween theme before it ships. If you don't have it, do it right now, this second.
Yeah, you're not going to remember, and it's going to be Monday, and then it's going to be over.
And we're shipping the fastest we've ever shipped before. So we got this dialed in. But for tonight, don't forget the code is Trellis. 10% off in the Adafruit store tonight up till 11:59 p.m. except for Adabox, what I just talked about, and gift certificates. It supports us, an open source hardware company in New York City. We are loan and venture capital free. We are independent. We're still profitable, but it's only that way if you purchase something. So please do that and use the code to save $1 or $2. Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady A will talk about that. Pack of the bag. We'll stop by, read your letters to us. Time travel, look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, some current events. New York City factory footage, 3D printing, new products. Once again, top secret is
Epic.
Epic again tonight. This has been like 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
Beefy.
Yep. We'll answer your questions.
Or vegan-y if you don't eat beef.
That's right. Impossible burger-y. And if you haven't already, go to adafruit.it/Discord. Not only should you do that for the show, but also if you're going to Maker Faire, go there. We have a Maker Faire New York room, and you'll want to be part of that.
You want to, all the cool kids are hanging out.
We have trivia questions, and we'll give away something at the show. All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Yes.
Okie dokie, Lady Ada. Pay some bills here at the codes. Yep. Trellis. As you're ordering stuff, we still have a bunch of Circuit Playground in stock.
We have so many freebies. Order $99 or more, you get a free Circuit. $99 or more, you get a free half-size Perma Proto, our bestest ever. Half-size breadboard shaped PCB with like the white silk screen and black and red and blue markings, so it looks just like a breadboard, and you can take your project, make it permanent. These are so handy, and people love using them in their projects. $199 or more, you'll get free UPS ground shipping. That's high-quality ground shipping in the continental United States, in 48 states. It'll get there. It'll be trackable. You'll know when it's showing up. It's really reliable. We love UPS ground shipping in the United States. And then if you order $299 or more, you'll get a free Circuit Playground Express. And this is a top seller. In fact, we sometimes have trouble keeping it in stock because we're selling so many Circuit Playground Expresses. This is our all-in-one development board. It's got capacitive touch, accelerometer, NeoPixels, microphone, speaker, light sensor, temperature sensor. It runs MakeCode, CS Discoveries Code.org, Arduino, and CircuitPython. I can't even keep track of everything it does because the list gets longer and longer every day. And we're going to be adding more and more capabilities to it as well, as we are always adding and increasing our ways of teaching people electronics. So order $300, you'll get one for free. And then you're wondering how to ship stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
How to ship
UPS,
stuff?
that's, if you're in the continental U.S., use that for sure. It's trackable. If you don't care if something arrives, maybe ever, or maybe just a little bit late, or maybe it'll disappear and come back. Postal service is okay. It's a little lower cost. That's why it does that. And then internationally, we suggest DHL.
Yeah. So far, it's working out. We've like really dialed in our shipping options, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when it was just me doing shipping and just you doing kitting, and I would answer all the customer emails, we didn't have DHL, and that meant that they had to pay for customs and import fees when it came in. Now it's all taken care of when you use DHL and checkout. Sells right through.
Yay.
Okay. If you're in Manhattan, you can get same-day delivery before 11 a.m. It's just one of the zip codes. If it's possible for where you're at in Manhattan, it'll tell you on checkout. Okay, Lady Ada, we've been doing show and tell for a long time, as I said before. People around the world sharing their projects. This week we had a bunch of projects, an Adafruit team, and more.
Well, yeah, this is a great place to tune in if you actually want to see like what's coming down the pike. You know, we've got the it's not out yet. Maybe you're like, well, what is people not Lady Ada at Adafruit working on? Because usually I show off usually only what I'm working on. But they come by show and tell, and it's kind of fun. You can get a preview and see what the guides for next week are going to be. So we had Colin. And Colin's working on a synthesizer, and he replaced one of the potentiometers with a digipot. And so he did a little digipot demo. These are potentiometers that are like electronic. And he said, you know, the trade-off is they're a little noisy. So this is one of the downsides of using a digital potentiometer is, especially with audio circuitry, it's not as quiet electronically. And if you're not sure what that means, watch N is for noise, that Colin worked on the script for that video that we have on our Circuit Playground YouTube channel. Mike Barella came by and pitched his book. He wrote a book all about Circuit Playground. It covers MakeCode, CircuitPython, and Arduino, hardware, software. It covers, you know, basically from the very beginner, you've never coded before, to, you know, you're a C++ expert and you just love compilers. Check out this book because it has projects, beautiful color photos, and of course a wide range of projects to build. He also made a Halloween badge. He's going to be at Maker Faire. He has a little badge now to wear. Our all-in-one CircuitPython board with a TFT display. We have some in stock, and he made a badge. So you'll know it's him, because he said he looks plain without a badge. Phil B. Talked about his guide that he wrote this week. It's like the SIGGRAPH, like 92 demo, the maze demo, where you can tilt the Halloween and you fly through this 3D rendered maze. Looks like 3D printed. And we also challenged him to make a teapot demo, because he's all about the SIGGRAPH. And we'll talk about that guide as well. Let me show a little video. JP previewed tomorrow's JP's workshops project. Here's a hint. It's a slideshow that when you tilt it, it changes the images. So he made a little slideshow that when you move it, it changes what it shows. So what is he going to build? I don't know. I don't want to ruin it for you. Watch JP's workshop and you'll find out. Known Pedro this week kicked off with some Halloween case variants. So if you picked up a Halloween and you want to 3D print a nice case for it, and you have access to a 3D printer, check that out. They have a lot of different styles, including like with a clip or with like a lanyard, like with the lens, without the lens. Scott didn't do a Halloween project. He's doing a CircuitPython synthesizer project for his Game Boy Advance, or sorry, Game Boy Pocket. It's a Bleepy Bloop demo. He's got the Celeste Pico 8 game soundtrack playing through CircuitPython into the synthesizer on a Game Boy Pocket, and he'll also be at Maker Faire, so you can track him down if you want to listen to the synthesizer. And then we had Jonathan from Costa Rica come by, learning Arduino, and made an Arduino Uno project, connected a buzzer onto pin 12, and then used delay microseconds to make tones, and had it play the Costa Rica national anthem, because apparently September 15th was Costa Rica's like national holiday. So that's awesome. And I've never heard the Costa Rica national anthem, so I have, and that's really sweet. So you got a sticker for that. Yep. And that's what we had on the show and tell.
All participants on the show and tell get an SC non-show and tell sticker. Email support at adafruit.com and we will send you a sticker. Part of our Adafruit live series of shows. GP's show is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he'll be showing some surprises, but this is what was on his show last week. Okay, Pack the Mailbag is stopping by. We read these emails every single week at our State of the Fruit, where we give out lots of interesting information to all of our team members about stats of the company and all that stuff. And we also read these emails that you send to us, to the entire team. Do hug reports, that's what we call them, instead of bug reports. But here's an email that came in. Just wanted to pass along my thanks for your awesome shipping to APO. That's a military base. You're making my 1-year deployment to Afghanistan so much more enjoyable when I'm able to order, receive, make, build within 10 days. You rock. Thanks, Lady Ada and the Adafruit team. Matt, we've always done free APO shipping.
All year round.
All year round. and that's cool.
You'll get it priority mail. You'll get it real fast, and
10 days.
We've definitely
Impressive.
that's really fast considering it's in Afghanistan, and that's definitely faster than it would be if we were shipping not to an APO. They have their own postal system, but a lot of people in deployment say that they're bored. They want to pick up some skills.
Yeah. Some of the I think it was a sergeant, and then it was a couple people that do training there. They said, "Yeah, we just make Minty Boost."
Yeah, they pick up Minty Boost, or they like pick up Arduino kits or CircuitPython kits or Circuit Playgrounds, and it's a good way because if you're sitting there, you're bored, and like you don't have really good internet. One of the really cool things is with MakeCode and CircuitPython, you don't need to have internet access to build some fun projects, and you can build a gigantic spider detector. Because apparently there's gigantic spiders there.
There are. All right, and also on JP's show we do MakeCode Minute. Here is this week's MakeCode Minute.
That's right. It's the MakeCode Minute. And look, here's the MakeCode. So for the MakeCode Minute today, I just wanted to show the very most basic use of capacitive touch on the Circuit Playground Express inside of MakeCode. So if you look at my MakeCode session here, I have arrayed out, sort of in the shape of the board, in the shape of this circle, a bunch of these input blocks that are called on pin and then a pin number down. So this is like pressing a button, except all these do is they check the capacitive touch pads that run around the outside of the board to see if they've been touched or not. Now we can do fancy things like adjust their tolerance, but just in the default tolerance right now, all I need is to tell it what to do when I press it. What I did is I got a little fancy and I said when I press any of these, call a function, and that's this function over here on the side which says digital pin LED turns on, so that's the little indicator LED on the board. It plays a little beep, then it sets a pixel to yellow, so that clears the board basically to yellow. Then it turns off that little indicator LED, so all that happens, and then the kind of unique part is per pin, I set one of the pixels to red that's near the indicator. So if you take a look right now, I'm going to touch, you might hear that little beep. So there's 4 sensors on this side, and there's 3 on this side. And that is all it takes to use the capacitive touch pads as inputs on the Circuit Playground Express inside of MakeCode.
Okay, CircuitPython news. We like to call it Code Plus Community. We got that slogan from the community because when you're learning Python, you're learning Python. It's more than just code. It's the community that goes along with CircuitPython. We wanted to build that in from the start, and we're celebrating 1 year
of the community
of the Adafruit CircuitPython Weekly, Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Discord.
It's voice and text. Yeah, I show up sometimes text mode, but there's also voice mode if you want to speak, and it's welcome to everybody. You don't have to you can be a CircuitPython user or somebody maybe you want to CircuitPython. Pop in, you'll hear what's going on in the development, which is really interesting.
This is one of the only like multimedia platforms for community coding that I'm aware of, and we need help not just if you program. You can do translations. You can help with documentation. You can help with testing.
You can just try things out and let us know if it works.
You can just say, "Hey, here's features I want to see."
Yeah.
So it's neat because we've got Discord, real-time chat, have audio and video. We have our weekly shows. We got Show and Tell, Ask an Engineer, 3D Printing, JP Show. We have the code, the actual code on GitHub.
Yeah.
We have all of that. We have Twitter. We have our newsletter. Speaking of, so all this stuff together, because you watch like open source projects, it's only as good as the community that's doing it. And if you build something great and you have a great community, it can carry you forward for a really long time.
Yep.
So that's what we got going on. So good work, Dan, Kattni, and Scott, and everyone in the
Lady
community, and the entire team who's there.
And there's tons of people in the community. I don't want to name one because I'll have to name them all, and I'm not going to remember everybody.
And I just do our team in alphabetical order. That's
the
most fair way to do it.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks. That's a big achievement. Okay.
And they're on YouTube too, because if you want to check in, like, what was it like a year ago?
Yeah, we have playlists, so you can see like we were at 1.0 or 2.0.
Yeah. Now we're getting ready for 4.0 alpha. Amazing.
Next up, our favorite easy editor is Moo.
Moo.
So if you want to learn Python the easiest possible way with one of the best editors out there, this is it. This is a cool, I'm just going to show a clip from this video. This is using Moo with Pygame and then using a Xbox or PlayStation hardware controller. So check this out. This is a clip from made with .moo. And you can see this is not that much Python. It doesn't take that much. And here's Pygame 0. Yeah. And then you're like, wouldn't it be great to control it with a joystick?
And it's reading from the joystick.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that neat? So this is a neat other example of like Python with hardware.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, so it's...
You know, it's funny. It's like this is... You're saying, like, there's things that used to be impossible to do, and now they're really easy.
Hard, and now it's easy.
This used to be really hard, and now it's really easy.
Okay.
And then, you can also do this on a Raspberry Pi. Moo runs on a Raspberry Pi, so if you want to have a little portable, you can do that too.
And if you have these controllers already, you can use it there. So anyways, that's if you haven't already, go to codewith.moo, but if you want to see these stories, go to madewith.moo.
Yes.
And all of these things is in our weekly newsletter. Thousands of people every single week. I think it's the most popular Python on hardware newsletters out there.
It's got to be. And I think it's probably one of the most popular Python newsletters because there's...
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, we've got, I think, almost 3,100 people who read it. Ad-free, spam-free, and it's on adafruitdaily.com. You go to adafruitdaily.com, scroll down, sign up for it. There's other ones there too. We never spam. We never do anything like that. We even came up with a separate domain name, adafruitdaily.com, to prove it. So that's how we do it. No ads. We don't share information.
It's like you just sign up.
There's no pop-ups. There's no popovers. We're sharing with our trusted partners. Stuff.
And if people want, they can submit. If you have links or projects you want to submit to the newsletter, you can do that on GitHub. So please do. Like if you or to the blog, you can submit it through the blog, and we'll put it in the newsletter as well.
Yep. Okay. Time travel. Look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. This week we're just doing current events. The Adafruit team, some of us will be at Maker Faire both Saturday and Sunday, September 22nd, 23rd. We'll be at the DigiKey booth on the map at 11 a.m. each day. And you want to go to Discord. Right now, if you haven't, I'll just put up the Discord thing and coordinate over Discord. There's a Maker Faire New York channel. You can add Scott, he's in there. Or just ask for help, any of the moderators can help, and they can add you to the channel, and we're going to do meetups. And then, right after that, September 27th at MIT, Open Hardware Summit. So these are the two things that are coming up. Adafruit team members will be there. Stop by and say hello. Speaking of open source hardware, Lady Ada.
That's what we do here.
Yeah,
that's what I do a lot.
1,576 guides. What's on the big board?
And like we're heading towards 1,600. Okay, we had a lot of guides this week. Some weeks are like a bounty, and some weeks there's not as many. But we had a ton this week. Transistors 101. This guide by David Stells. Everything you want to know about how to use transistors from the low level, how to bias them to just like, I want to get this thing working. Here's how to get it working. Make It Change potentiometers. This is from the Make It series by Mike Borello, who again wrote this awesome book on getting started with Circuit Playground Express. This guide is actually really good. It's all about potentiometers and how to use them, different types, with example code for MakeCode, Arduino, CircuitPython, and how to make the potentiometer, how to read the value and then do something with it. So if you want to add a twisting motion or a sliding motion to your project, potentiometer is a great thing to use it for. He also explains where the word potentiometer comes from, which I kind of never thought about, but he put it in there. Milk Jug Glow Skull, we showed that video from JP, and we'll have a little video as well. It's a screaming, glowing skull with these eyes that blink, and you can use a Halloween, or you can use a Circuit Playground Express. Almost any CircuitPython friendly microcontroller will do it, but using a Halloween. And you mold a milk jug, like a common 1 gallon milk jug, over a $5 Halloween skull, and using a heat gun, you can kind of melt it in, and you can make multiple skulls, and they're like really cool and translucent, so they're great for filling with LEDs, which we love to do. We see something and we're like, let's stuff it full of LEDs. It's just what we do here. If we were a candy company, we'd stuff it full of marshmallows, but we're doing electronics. The Halloween Minotaur Maze, also a little demo. This is a full raycaster. So that's not a video, that's actually calculating and rendering the image on the SAMD21. The processor is pretty good. It's faster than what sent us to the moon, and used to be computer for about 48 megahertz. That's faster than most first IBM PCs that came out. So it can render images, and maybe he's going to do a couple other fun rendering projects on the display of the Halloween. So fun if you've ever been interested, like how does 3D rendering work? Distance measurement with ultrasound. This is a really great guide from a new guide writer. And what's neat is this shows how to use these ultrasonic sensors. It's a new product that we have. So we have a guide for using it with MakeCode. And he goes into a lot of detail on how they work and how to calibrate them if you want to do some more calibration and like different tests. So it's not just how to use it, it's like all about ultrasonic sensors. But you know, using a Circuit Playground Express as a demo, and then you know, using the LEDs to graph distance. Then build a custom front panel. Also a really epic guide. This technique is really nice. If you ever wanted to make a beautiful case, he goes through how to do it for you know, your low cost. You want to make a beautiful case covering. You don't want to spend a lot of money. You get a custom print, how to get that done, and companies that you can get that done by, and then how to step drill your case to fit LEDs, and you can have underlit LEDs, or they can pop through. So it goes through a couple different techniques. But so, you know, some people, they want to have a beautiful box. This is an excellent guide with lots of tips. ReefPi Guide 2, power controller. So we had ReefPi once. This is a Raspberry Pi controlling a reef. People who have saltwater reefs or freshwater reefs, these are very delicate organisms that, you know, have fish and the coral, and you want to make sure that they're exactly right temperature, right pH. So this Raspberry Pi uses sensors and power relays to turn on and off heaters, or the sensors, or you know, add more water or remove water from your reef. So check that out. There'll probably be more as well. I think if you're a reef person and everyone knows one of those aquaculture fans, this might be a great project to dig into. And then last but not least, we have the Circuit Playground Express head tilt ears. And here is, I asked Dave, hey, can you just take a video of you using them? And this is kind of cute. So it detects when you tilt your head, and it kind of perks the ears up a little bit automatically using the accelerometer. I think this would be great for cosplay, either for Halloween.
Spaceballs.
Or if you just want to be a Mog.
Yeah.
Half man, half dog.
Yeah.
His own best friend. That's kind of what we were inspired by. But you know, any kind of animal or rabbit or cat where you want the ears to perk up when you tilt, it's a really easy project in MakeCode. It's like 2 or 3 blocks of code.
Yep.
So yeah,
okay.
epic.
Them's the guides.
7, 8 guides this week. Whew.
Okay. Well, we have some made in New York City factory footage. A couple ones with sound, and then a couple ones we'll
All right.
talk about.
What did we make this week?
There we go. Stuff we got going on here. This is Fona.
Fona 808s. Coming out of the oven.
Yeah, piping hot. And then we also have some Cricut selective solder footage.
That's what it looks like. And we got you can see the big nozzle, which can solder all 3 pins at the same time, which is awesome. And there you go, doing those servo connectors. Beautiful.
And then we also have some vibration sensing and some other type of sensing using Cricut and Circuit Playground Express. This will make something happen when it hears something, or there's a vibration, or using the variety of sensors from light to other things to make something move and more. And this is some 3D printing.
Whoa. It's like a gigantic crystal.
Yeah.
And like a
Gifts for Carol.
like a rose. And an Adabot.
For the Kryptonian who has everything.
And a heart.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a 3D print. Oh, skulls. Skull mask.
And
Teddy?
of course, this is what our picket places go to sleep every single night in beautiful New York City. 3D printing. Noah and Pedro printing up a variety of things every single week. This week, we have
Halloween cases.
And then we'll do a speed up.
Okay, take it away.
Okie dokie.
Okay, we're back.
Every single Wednesday, 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. Watch it. You'll learn how to make all this stuff. Bit of a reminder, if you have not got your Adabox subscription started, you must do it now because you will not remember. Monday at noon is when it's cutting off. We're shipping earlier. I hope the people who said, when is it shipping? When's it shipping? It takes too long to. Where's my spy camera? Where's my spy camera?
Where's my spy camera?
They say, I
Where's
hope.
my spy
I hope they say, man, you shipped too early this time. Why are you shipping things so early and so good? That said no one ever.
No, I know.
So, anyways, we're ahead of schedule on Adabox 09.
We are.
But if you want Adabox 09, you still have a little bit more time. We have a few slots open.
But we will, and we have a limited number of boxes, and we made the boxes, so
And-
it's
and
like
we
when we
might,
run out.
It might even end before Monday at noon, but that's when we know that it's...
For sure, that's a cutoff.
Yeah.
So if you want one, and it's jam-packed full of really sweet stuff.
Halloween themed, so if you want
There's
it,
a
and
lot
that's
of
what we
goodies.
played the videos in the beginning of the show, so I'm not going to play them again, but that's that.
Sign up.
All right, before we go on to new products, Lady Ada, the code is Trellis.
Yes. I wonder why.
10% off the native fruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for Adabox and gift certificates. Kick it.
Okay. Noops.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
First up, it's a battery holder, but this is a really nice battery holder. Okay. You got some double A's. You got two of them. You put them in. you get about like 2.5 to 3 volts. But look on the ends, you get those premium jumper wires, not just raw wires, but you have little pluggy cables. So you can plug this directly into a breadboard and it works great. So you don't have to worry with those fiddly wires or soldering them. Of course, you can solder them into a PCB, you can cut the wires and strip them, but perfect for if you want to use these with a breadboard or a perf board, or a board with female headers, or if you're doing squishy circuits and you want to like poke these into some conductive Play-Doh, also great.
Okay, next up.
Okay, next up, the Inky Fat. So we actually have carried a version of this. We have the red, white, and black version, and this is like this golden yellow white and black version. So it's basically the same design, except the e-ink panel itself is a little bit different, and I can show it on the overhead. So let's kick it overhead style. Oh, hold on. I gotta zoom in. So it's e-ink. So when I remove this, bam, it stays on. And then you can see it's got black for the blinka and then white for the background, and it's kind of golden yellow. You can see a little bit of the previous image because I didn't let it finish refreshing, but I had the Adafruit. But the other one is red, white, and black. So this is a golden yellow. I think people are gonna like the red a lot more, but sometimes you want like a little yellowish color, like a golden color. It is a very unique, like not as exciting as the red, but it is a highlight color. So it might be good for your project. Otherwise, the code's the same. Comes with a CircuitPython code, plugs right onto any Raspberry Pi. I have it on a Pi Zero here, but you don't have to use it with a Pi Zero. Can you work with a Pi 2 or Pi 3? Any of the Pis with a 2x20 connector, and it comes fully assembled. So you just plug it right in, install the Python code from Pimeroni, and you're good to go.
Okay. Next up.
All right, more from Pimeroni. We got a big shipment of stuff. This is the graphics hat, and we're just going to show it, not lit up, and then I'm going to show the demo lit up. It's got a this, you can see here, this is a monochrome graphic display, 128 by 64 pixels, and then around the side there's 6 capacitive touch buttons with LED backlights, and it's all controlled over I2C. So let's check this out. Okay, so we got this nice demo. It's showing Adafruit, and then you see here these buttons. See how there's like a nice light up that lets you know when it's touched. Light up, not great. So these are capacitive touch buttons, and so there's a kind of green-blue backlight that you can change, and you can set it so now it's like it's turning blue, and you can turn all them on, and of course you can program whatever you want the buttons to do. You don't have to have it change the backlight color. I believe it's a full color backlight. It might be only green and blue, but I think I actually don't remember, but it's at least green and blue. And you can change the backlight in the 6 zones, and then the buttons, you program this over Python and you have it do whatever you want. Again, I've got it on a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus here, but you can put it on an A Plus, you can put it on a Pi Zero. It'll overhang a little bit, but it's also fully assembled, plug and play. It even comes with some hardware to mount it securely onto your Raspberry Pi. So great if you want to make a little interface with buttons that people can touch. And I like the LED feedback. It's a very nice diffused look. Lets you know that the button press was read by the board. So that's 2 Pimeroni Pi stuff.
And it is RGB.
Yeah, I think it's RGB. It's
yep.
Okay, so that's the
okay.
Another one. So there were 2 Pimeroni things. We're gonna have more coming soon.
Okay. Next up.
The HC SR04, this is like a classic sensor. I kind of forgot to carry this. This is a distance sensor. It's ultrasonic. It's got a transmitting and receiving ultrasonic. You can be like a bat or a dolphin, and you can bounce ultrasonic for 40 kilohertz waves off of things. They bounce back and it measures it. So it can do distance measurements. And these are just very low cost sensors. They're often used in robotics. But they're also great if you want to do some sort of break beam. They have a very narrow angle, or if you want to detect people walking by, or you want to detect the distance of anything. So this is a simple sensor. It's a 5-volt sensor, so it includes some resistors with it. And I'll show you also a demo so you can see what it looks like when you use it. So I've got it hooked up here to a feather. And then the 2 resistors, when the data comes out of it, it's 5-volt logic. So you just put the 2 resistors in between. And then, you've got this distance sensor, and I can get closer or farther away. And it'll measure, my hands. Now I'm really close. Hold on, too close. 1 second. So 6 centimeters, and as I go back, it goes to 30, 40, and I think it can go up to, I think 400, it's about 200 centimeters maximum. So you can see here, it's like detecting the ceiling or something, and then eventually it's like, I can't detect anything. But it's going to go at 1 centimeter resolution. It's not super mega precise, but they're very cheap. I'll say that. You want to toss this into a project. You don't have to worry about breaking the bank. You can put like 3 or 4 of them, trigger one at a time so they don't collide the signal. That's pretty common. You'll see a robot with 3 or 4 of these around each corner. And we've got a link to an Arduino library that works good, and we have a CircuitPython library that also works with the Raspberry Pi. So simple to use.
I'll do a question that's on here. Is that ultrasonic sensor I2C?
It's not. It uses this like distance with thing. So it's not I2C, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's very inexpensive and it only takes 2 pins. So you can use any 2 digital pins that you like. And again, you can do it with MakeCode. We've got a library for an example code for MakeCode. We have a library for CircuitPython, and there's a lot of Arduino examples. So that's the only thing that's a little weird, is it uses this distance trigger pin pulse width thing. But it works pretty well, as you can see, and it's pretty responsive. You can, I think, do it maybe 20 times a second. You can get data. If you want a more precise sensor, we've got the VL5031L0X and VL6108 or 80X. Those are laser time of flight sensors. Those are going to be very precise, but you're going to pay a little bit more.
Okay.
All right, so simple ultrasonic sensor for distance.
All right, and tonight, to start the show, besides the community and you, Lady Ada, is
Trellis,
our discount code,
which is also the discount code.
Look
Okay, so this is what people have wanted from the moment we had Trellis. Everybody was constantly asking.
No one's going to say, this is exactly what I asked for and I got it. They're going to just say, well, can you do anything else different, whatever. We got this. This is the first question always. Can you do an RGB trellis? Since the second we showed Trellis.
Yeah.
Can you do an RGB trellis?
Yeah. So now
we got this.
Now we got it. An RGB trellis, and as you see here, this is our little demo, and this is just showing one panel. So like the trellis boards that we've sold before that were LEDs, you get these boards, and each board does a 4x4 grid. And then you can tile them together, as many as you want, up to 32, which is a lot. And this is all done over I2C using Seesaw. So this is an I2C device. We have an interrupt pin if you want to use an interrupt input, but you don't need to. You can just pull the I2C and it's plenty fast. And on the other side is NeoPixels. And the NeoPixels are also handled over Seesaw. So again, you don't have to worry about what if I have a Raspberry Pi or an ESP32, and it's not great with NeoPixels. It's all done over I2C. So I have a demo of a massive grid. So like you're wondering, but what if I want more than 4 buttons? Well, you can tile them together. So you see you solder here. This is a mechanical connection. And on the bottom, you have the I2C and data pins. And you put a little piece of wire and you solder them. And don't try to break this, but if you don't try to break it, it's not going to break. And it stays nice and solid. And then, of course, you solder all 4 together for mechanical strength. And then you only have to connect to one because it's just shared bus. And each one of them, the I2C jumpers, you short them so that each one has a unique address. And in the library, you just tell it, hey, I've got 4 boards. And then you get these elastomer pads that we sell, and they're sold separately. And then you just line up the pads. There's a little nubs, and then they sit nice and flat. And I'll leave this one off so you can see it. And then here's a demo. It's just running off of a Gemma M0, unless I killed the battery, which I think, hold on. Let me plug it. Oh, there you go. So you can see these are the NeoPixels, and then these are them diffused. And that's like a little rainbow demo. And then you can press each button, and then you can do multiple button presses. It uses diodes, so you can press as many buttons as you like. In fact, you can press all of them. So many buttons. You can just go bonkers with all your button pressing. You can detect as many presses as you like. This one stayed on. And then you've got full color, and then you can control them separately. So in your code, you read the button presses, you can have a callback, and then you can set it to do whatever you want. So for this demo, I just have it when you're pressing it, it lights up a color, but of course, you're free to do whatever your heart desires. Tile as many of these as you want. We even have some laser cut files if you have a laser cutter, or you can 3D print. We have some 3D printed projects that you can follow, and this is the same mechanical shape as the old trellis, so you can reuse all of our old trellis projects, and now it's just like rainbowy joyfulness. Okay, so there you go. There you go, everybody. You wanted a NeoPixel trellis, you got one. Finally, all your desires have been met.
Okay, and beep. With that, Lady Ada is products.
Yay!
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Recap.
It's a new recap. We got these 2 AA battery holders with those premium wires. They can just plug right into a breadboard. Epic. No dealing with those little thin wires. You got the Inky Fat in white, black, and golden yellow from Pimeroni, just like the other e-ink display. It runs, of course, low power, plugs into any Raspberry Pi, and comes with Python code. The graphics hat has a 128 by 64 monochrome display, 6 capacitive touch buttons, and a colorful backlight that you can have 6 zones that can change. So it's kind of an interesting indicator for your Raspberry Pi project. Great for communicating data. These low-cost HC SR04 ultrasonic sensors are so popular in robotics. You might like them too. Even comes with 2 10K resistors, so you can use them with 3-volt or 5-volt logic. Measure distances. Neo Trellis. Each panel comes with 16 NeoPixels, a seesaw over I2C. You can read buttons and trigger the NeoPixels, and you can tile up to 32 of these together to make massive elastomer button panels. Any kind of input device, synthesizer, drum machine, or control box that you want now has colorful NeoPixels behind those buttons. Boom. That's new products.
Okay, if you like NeoTrellis, you can save 10% off. Use the code NeoTrellis in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lady Ada, we have some top secret stuff. Let's get through it.
I know.
Because we want to answer questions at the end. First up, debuted, I think, on Discord and also Twitter, LoRaPi.
Yeah, this
What's
is
LoRaPi?
Well, this actually is an old board, but I revised it because we have the Things Network router in the store, and we're going to do some Things Network projects with LoRaWAN and Arduino, and we're starting with the Feather M0 LoRa board that we've got. But maybe you have a Raspberry Pi that you want to do as well. This is a design I made, and this is a revision. This time, you still have that either an RFM69 or RFM9X, 400 or 900 megahertz, whatever you want. But I was like, you know what? I've noticed that it was really useful for LoRa is to have a little OLED. So there's a little rectangle, so it's going to be an OLED display, and then 3 buttons so you can send data from a Raspberry Pi, or receive data over LoRa or radio, and then you can display stats. Because I find if you're doing something with radio, you want to know, like, did your packet get received? What's the signal strength? What's the power level, or what's the battery remaining? So new design coming out soon.
Okay. And then we're finalizing the Cricut for Pi.
Silkscreen is done. This is the silkscreen for the Cricut hat. I sent out those boards. We even added the wiring diagrams to the guide already because we're in anticipation. This is going to be really cool. It's a little bit different than the other Cricuts. For example, the USB is also a USB to serial converter, so you can use that to code your Raspberry Pi. And the speaker is not controlled by CircuitPython or anything. It's an ALSA I2S amplifier, and we got the mute control going as well. So it's going to be great. This is a perfect match for Pi because the Raspberry Pi doesn't do motor control that well. It doesn't have PWMs, doesn't have analogs, doesn't have capacitive touch. It doesn't do NeoPixels even that well. So now you actually get all the things that the Raspberry Pi doesn't do in a hat. I think it'll be great for robotics.
Okay. And then I got one thing, and then we're going to show the last top secret. So we're still in testing for our AR app, and this new one is if you have a Cricut or if you have the HoloWing, it'll pop up the devices that you own. And so this will be on some of our invoices on the actual physical hardware, whether it be on the screen or maybe actually on the silk screen itself. And so this is us doing some testing with that. This will be out very soon. And then last up...
I like how it bounces nicely. It's like, hello, I'm a little Cricut.
And last up, we have a case that is almost ready to ship for Circuit Playground Express.
Do you want me to show on the overhead?
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet. Here's some photos.
Yeah. So it's like a case.
Yeah, and then this is what it looks like, lit up.
One that's in the dark.
And then we'll show a demo here, a real demo.
Yeah, I can show it off real
so
fast.
we're in some intense testing.
Yeah.
Right
So
now.
there's got the 2 buttons, and then there's this middle button. So you can put into bootloader mode or reset it. You got the 2 buttons here. You can plug in the USB. It's got the alligator clip available, and on the back, I'm a big fan of quarter 20. It's not metric, but it is standard. So there's so many camera mounts and things that you can attach like a selfie stick or whatever. So this quarter 20,
and then a loop you can.
Yeah, you can sort of see
it could be a watch. It could be a
there's
belt.
slots.
Yeah.
You can put this on your belt or your watch or a strap, any kind of strap, and it's a little bit more than 1 inch tall, so you can strap it onto something. It's a nice clear case. It's 2 pieces. You can.
Designed by Mike Dole. His name's on the case.
Its name's on the
and
case.
he's in Discord.
And we made it strong enough that it's actually not super easy for me to remove.
Yeah, I'm doing torture testing with it. So far, it's surprisingly strong, and it surprised me that I can't break it.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely open it. I just don't want to do it and have it fly into like 1,000 pieces all over the place. So maybe I'll actually just leave it in the case.
You should leave it in the case.
You can open it. It's possible. I just don't want to break it because I only have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just open it. But it snaps together, and it's you can see all of the components. That's nice, and you can see the LEDs. And you're wondering, why don't you have holes for the speaker and the microphone? But actually, we did testing, and we did not need it. And I would rather have it be more protective and less holes, so less dust or water or liquids can get in. So we decided to go with no holes, and because we found that it doesn't make any difference for the audio input or output or the light sensor. It works just fine.
Okay, back in the vault.
Yeah, the round vault.
Okay, if you're not on Discord, go there now. adafruit.it/Discord. That's where we're answering questions. We're gonna answer a few. I have a couple loaded up.
Okay,
right
load
now.
me up.
Yeah. Here we go. The first question was.
Dun dun dun. I'm
these
ready.
Are for the.
I'm ready.
It's not out yet. Don't ask. I can't answer those. Nope. These are all questions for things. Does the Neo Trellis allow you to light up the LEDs as per normal NeoPixels without the buttons being pressed, or do they only light up when the buttons are being pressed?
Oh, it's completely controlled separately. So the NeoPixel strip is like a NeoPixel strip. The code that we wrote just happens to look for a button press and then light them up. So you saw the beginning of the demo. I'll show it. They light up all the LEDs one after the other. So this, I'm like doing this NeoPixel demo, and then I run the code that waits for a button press and then lights it up. But each LED can be any color you want, and you can control them totally separate than the button presses. I just thought this is a good indicator demo. I think people can see what's going on, but you don't have to. You can even use this without the buttons at all. You're like, I don't want this. I just want an LED matrix. That's fine too.
Okay, I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Who voices Adabot? I used to, and then also, of course, Colin does now, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be the puppeteer, but now one of us here does. We have a rule: the only people that can make the puppet shows, the Circuit Playground things, are the people who work here.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, I'll take a crack at this one. What do you see as the different usages for the Cricut with Pi versus the Cricut with Playground? Do you think one or the other would be better for students?
Ooh, good question.
So it all depends. Because like maybe you have more advanced students who are doing Linux-y stuff. That's where the Pi really shines, because it's a very advanced computer. You might want to add a camera. You might want to do other things. My opinion is the easiest, fastest, best way to do robotics is Circuit Playground Express with Cricut, because you can do make code for blocks, maybe more advanced
Especially
students.
portable stuff, because even the Raspberry Pi, a Raspberry Pi portable robot is not easy. Raspberry Pis don't like to be powered off of batteries. They like to be plugged into the wall. So for things that stay still, or things where you don't mind having a really big power supply, if you want to use the Pi camera or the HDMI display, if you need a lot of processing power, that's where that works out really well. And I think the Circuit Playground Express, especially with make code, is great for students who are not experienced Python programmers. They're not into typing. They don't want to do the semicolons and the parentheses and the tabs and spaces. They just want to drag blocks and get it working. So I think the Cricut Circuit Playground Express is better for portable projects and simple projects that do something but don't need a ton of computational power. And the Cricut Pi is going to be great when people are like, okay, I want to use OpenCV with the camera and then move a robot, or I have audio that's like, MP3 and I'm generating the audio and then I have capacitive touch to trigger it. Something that's a little bit more complicated and advanced.
So lowest cost, easiest to use, Circuit Playground Express with Cricut. You can start with MakeCode and or JavaScript, and then of course you get CircuitPython. That's where I think you're going to ultimately end up anyways.
Yeah.
You can use Moo, and also.
But the code's the same. But the CircuitPython code is the same.
Same
for all of them. It doesn't matter what you're using.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter, but it also depends on the curriculums. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do some speed
Let's
round.
do some more questions.
Do you suggest a good way to have the two hollow wings communicate to keep their eyes synchronized?
Yeah, you could just, connect the grounds together and then you can use the UART. You can RX and TX data, or you can actually just have a pin go high and low and just look for that pin going high and low. I mean, if it's just to synchronize something, twiddle a pin.
HCSR04, what's the max range?
They say 450 centimeters, but I think over 250 centimeters, you're not gonna get as good performance. So I'm gonna say 250.
Can you tell me about how many Adabox subscriptions? I think less than 100, but it's not that much.
They go really fast.
Yeah, because everyone waits the last second.
I will warn you that a lot of people wait the last minute.
Why is the OLED Featherwing cheaper than standalone OLED breakouts?
It depends on how many we're making. I believe we're just much better at making the OLED Featherwings.
Right.
And I think it doesn't have as much level shifting circuitry on it. So that will make a difference as well as the size.
Halloween compatible with Cricut despite female headers.
Not really. I think you could make it work, but I would use wires because it's not going to plug in. So yeah, just use all you need is 3 volts, ground, SJ and SCL, and that's all you need for Cricut, and then you can basically use the Halloween with the Cricut.
Next up, how's the progress going to Saberwing? Well, it's not out yet, but we did post up some things, and you'll see something soon. Like, we're getting close. Like, we have.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, we're getting close. Will you ever add more money to Circuit Playground? It all depends. Chip prices go lower. Maybe.
Yeah, it's what.
It's jam packed now.
It's jam packed, and it is you do pay per byte. So not any time super soon. You can desolder the chip and add your own if you like, though.
Okay. Is there an organization that is making a law or something for universal adapters for power? No. Everyone is out to kill each other, and everyone's terrible and lies to everyone when it comes to electronics.
That's true.
So everyone is just trying to figure out how to screw everyone over as they have to buy the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
Yeah. But once you get through that, life's easier.
Yeah. You just learn to live with it.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, those are the questions.
Yeah.
Woo!
Ooh, there's a lot of questions.
Okay, Lady Ada, you want to give something away?
I do want to give something away. I'm going to give away a Neo Trellis.
You're going to give away Neo Trellis? Wow.
Yeah.
What are the rules for the trivia?
The rules are, if you've won something before, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. And the person who is going to call the phone, and I'm going to say ahoy, ahoy. And today is Talk Like a Pirate Day. So it's very topical. I'll say ahoy, ahoy. I'll pick up the phone. I'm going to ask you your name, where you're calling from, and a project you're working on or you want to work on. And if you're able to answer all those questions, I will send you out a Neo Trellis board.
Okay, this is the phone number.
So call this phone number. It's going to ring twice, and I'm going to say ahoy, ahoy.
That's it. 1-bit stab.
Call it.
This is the phone.
Call this phone. It's going to
This is
ring.
the phone number.
It's going to do stuff. Oh, there's one ring. There's one ring. Let's see if we can do 2 rings, and then they can't hang up on me. Okay, pick it up. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy, ahoy. Hello, you're the winner of the fabulous trivia question contest on Ask an Engineer. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Jeff from Florida.
Sorry, Jeff from Florida?
Yes.
Okay, well, congratulations, Jeff. You won a Neo Trellis. Wow, yay. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com, support@adafruit.com, and say, hey, I'd like to get my free product number 3954, and they'll say, okay, Jeff, and they'll send it to you in Florida.
What is it making?
Okay, 3954.
That's right. So what are you making, or what are you going to make with this Neo Trellis that you're going to get? Hello? Jeff? Wait.
Jeff is like, I'm going to leave right now and get my prize.
Jeff got his prize. Hello? I guess he's gone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. What are you working on? What's the project you're working on or you want to work on?
Some sort of Halloween theme thing.
Okay.
Maybe a fake doorbell or a funky doorbell thing.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, well, you got time. You got 6 weeks till Halloween, so I think that's enough time for you. Well, if you make a cool project, come by Show and Tell and show it off.
Okay.
All right, well, it's a pleasure speaking to Jeff, and don't forget to email to get your free prize.
Okay.
All right, good night. Okay. Sweet.
Okay, that was a trivia question.
Congratulations.
Good work, Jeff.
The trivia question is, what's your name?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to do one kind of follow-up question, because someone had a good question in the chat. They
That was
said,
a good question.
well, they said, like, do you see CircuitPython replacing C and Arduino IDE? And the answer is, all depends, but the other answer is yes, because especially for certain things, it takes a really long time. Robotics is a good first example. It takes a really long time to do something in Arduino, compile, wait, things made, it goes and transfers, and you make one little change, and you want to keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So with CircuitPython, it's just basically editing a text file, and it's a USB drive on your computer. It's just like, if you can just change a little number, hit save, and it's automatically running.
1 second. In fact,
again.
there was a Kickstarter for OpenMV, and they actually said they use micropython, which CircuitPython is a variant of, and they say the 1 second iteration is really key for doing video and camera stuff, because you're like, oh, I just want to tweak this. I don't, the threshold should be like 10 less or 1 more, or like change the color a little bit. And this is something that you can do in Python interpret.
Yeah.
We had a teacher today email say they've been using CircuitPython on Chromebooks.
So I'll give you an example. If you're trying to get the best performance because you're an advanced developer, of course you're going to eventually like write something in C. You're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and you're going to just do something that's optimized for performance. If you're an educator, or if you're learning, or if you want to enjoy yourself, you don't care about that. You want to spend the most time in iteration, most time developing, most time having fun. If you're going to get super tweaky, and you have like, okay, I need to design for manufacturing, I'm going to use this like pick chip or this other like.
You want to be as cheap and fast as optimal. That's different.
Like, I have to put a million little things in a thing. Like it's different than learning and teaching, and also the curriculums in schools are Python. So yeah, like you could potentially relearn everything if you're in curriculum, but you can do electronics right now with Python. So I think for what Arduino is and the type of people that are using Arduino, today the badge project was a good example. It's really hard to do a badge on a screen with 20 images in Arduino. It's really hard.
Yeah,
very
just
easy.
like drag and drop. You can't actually do any kind of drag and drop with Arduino. They don't have mass storage support.
So like it just depends where you want to spend your time.
Yeah. And for a lot of people at the beginning, they just want to get going as quickly as possible.
So
yeah, me too.
We talk to educators, and they're like, we just want to be able to have students of all ages
45 minutes.
in 45 minutes or less do something. And it shouldn't just be installing the IDE, getting all these weirdo libraries everywhere. They just want to open up a text file on maybe not the best computer at all, and immediately start being able to make something happen.
Yeah. Also, I will say one thing that really inspired, just because Burning Man just ended, I was really inspired with CircuitPython because I'd had to do a lot of projects at Burning Man. This was a while ago. Now they have like internet there or something, but having to debug and customize a project in the field, like it's the ultimate in the field. Like you don't have anything. Like there's no internet. You barely even have power, and you're debugging a project, you're making a project work and fixing it. And doing that with PIC-C was such a nightmare. And then I did, I think maybe a year or two with Arduino, and that was kind of better, but not great. And if I'd had CircuitPython, you just plug in your Chromebook. You get a cheap Chromebook, you plug it in. You can edit the code and modify it on the fly, and then have it running again. You can back up the code easily. And you don't have to download drivers. Oh, like that would have been really nice 15 years ago.
Yeah. And so, like the last bit of this before we end the show is, if you choose a good platform, I say something like Circuit Playground Express, Feather, M4, all the stuff that we recently did, all the SAMD stuff that Adafruit did, you get MakeCode, you get JavaScript, you get of course, CircuitPython.
Yeah.
You get Arduino, you get Lisp. There's so many more things you can do. And so, yeah, you can choose. But I think that's the thing. If you're in this like maker world, you probably want to spend more time having fun doing things than like compiling and waiting, because the time comes from somewhere.
Yeah, and if you're not making 10,000, is it really worth your time?
Okay. All right, so that's it. Our show is over. Trellis is code all the way up to 11:59 p.m.
Pick up. We have Trellis in stock. We made like 100.
We got them.
You asked for them.
And do not forget, if you didn't get Adabox, do it right now. The second, we're probably going to be running out. I just looked. We do have less subscriptions available. So if we run out, we run out. So do it now. That's it for the show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all the Adafruit team members. We'll see some of you soon. See some of you at Maker Faire. thanks for making this the best hour, besides the best half an hour, which is show and tell.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the Adafruit team members that are helping run the show behind the scenes, and the remote team members in the community, everyone in Discord and more. We will see you soon.
Elastomer buttons.
Here is your moment of Zener.
Bye, everybody.